All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. We're excited to present today. I'm Nicole Gignac. I'm the VP of Sales at L2T Media.
And I am Nikki Paladino. I am the SEO manager at L2T Media. I'm excited to talk to you guys all today.
So we're going to be talking about SEO and all the things that are entailed with SEO. So first and foremost, we're going to go through what is SEO and how does it work. Secondly, we'll talk about the history of SEO, where we've come and where we're at today. Next, we'll talk about measuring SEO efforts and how you can determine ROI. And then lastly, most importantly, we'll talk about how to be a real business but keep SEO in mind. So first and foremost, what is SEO and how does it work? How many in this room are doing some form of SEO or, optimizing their website in some manner? So this slide probably was super relevant about 5 years ago. And now not so much because everyone really knows what it is. But the concept behind SEO is just how do we drive organic traffic to our websites? And what tactics do we utilize to most effectively do that? So we're going to dive into that here today. So the basic premise behind SEO, of course, is that the shopper does a relevant search, your website appears, and obviously, ultimately, the consumer clicks through on your website. So the tactics on how SEO is actually achieved has really varied over the years, and we'll dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, so we're going to go through kind of what you need to do to show up in these search results to get traffic from these searches, and really a new philosophy of how to do that with all the new Google search or Google algorithm changes and the shift to local SEO.
So first, before we go there, I thought it would be helpful to give a brief history of SEO, partly for entertainment purposes, but also just to give conceptual understanding to where we're going. So it used to be, back in the days, that you would stuff a bunch of keywords on your website. You would do heavy keyword over-optimization, right? You'd probably repeat the word Ford Explorer 10 different times on your site. And some people even went as far as doing a link that was white on a white background. Remember those days? So that they could get as many keywords as possible on the website to actually over SEO. And it actually worked. That was the sad thing. So they used to just stuff the keywords on the site and actually manipulated Google to thinking that your site was relevant for those keywords. And then there were also all these directory sites out there. And the directory sites existed so that a bunch of them populated overnight. But essentially, people would post their websites, obviously, to these directory sites. But it turns out a lot of them that populated overnight were really low quality. So there wasn't a lot of relevancy behind those directory sites. And then there was the concept behind actually buying links. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but I think it was about maybe 4 digital dealers ago, there were a lot of automotive networks, right, that you could buy into. And you could buy into the automotive network. And all of a sudden, you got a bunch of links from what seemed to be relevant automotive sites. Well, it turns out a lot of those concepts were link farming and unnatural linking. And what Google didn't like about that is that really didn't show the consumer that your website was really relevant. It was a manipulative way to artificially rank higher. So what happened was there were several algorithm updates that really impacted SEO. And we won't go into the many iterations of these algorithm updates, but I'll just give a brief overview of what they are so you can all understand. So first was Panda, and Panda got behind all of that spammy content. So the duplication of repeating those keywords, just basically on every page trying to push a bunch of keywords in there, and really got rid of that spam, and they wanted more quality content. So what you put on your site is write something relevant that the consumer wants to read. Don't just put a bunch of keywords on there that the consumer doesn't care about. So Panda was kind of the first big change and big revelation to the algorithm updates. The second one that happened was the Penguin update. And this one actually knocked out a lot of that link farming and all those link schemes. Actually, what was really interesting about the Penguin update was companies came out of the woodworks that would help you remove all the bad links that you previously had bought. So it was a really interesting time in SEO because people went out there and bought all these links and then suddenly maybe fell off the first page of Google. And so these companies came about and said, well, we'll actually take these off for you and just pay us. It was probably the same companies that you bought the links from, ironically. And then lastly, there was the most recent update is called the Pigeon update. I don't know why there's all animals associated, but the Pigeon update was really focused on local SEO and the concept that you need to get your website on local citation sites so that Google understands that you're really a local business and that you are a legitimate local business. So those old directory sites that I mentioned, not so much relevant anymore. The directory sites that are really important we'll go into later on, but that's been the most recent update. And obviously, I'm giving a really high-level overview of these algorithm updates, but just important for perspective that we understand where we've come from.
So over the last couple of years with these algorithms, Google got smarter and really wanted to provide the most relevant search results for their consumers. They wanted to find quality results that they can provide their consumers. So that's what they came up with these updates, and that's why we got to do SEO the way we do it today. And now we have a new philosophy that we should be adhering to of be a real business, but keep SEO in mind. So first, to how you measure your success, if you're sticking to this philosophy and if you're seeing success from your SEO tactics, is to use Google Analytics. Google Analytics really gives great insight on who's coming to your site, how much time they're spending on the site, and if these visitors are going to turn into consumers. So you want to split up your organic traffic into two sections, the traffic volume and traffic quality. The traffic volume really looks at the people that are coming to your site through organic. Are they new visitors? Are they visitors that have already been to your site before? And then the quality metrics, and that's bounce rate, average time on site, and pages per session. That's how you know if the people are spending time searching on your site. Are these people quality visitors that are going to turn into consumers and actually buy a car? So really analyzing your organic data is how you'll see if your SEO campaign is going to see success. So we're going to kind of come back to this over the next couple slides and actually see how every SEO tactic that you should be doing, what results should you be seeing from that. So going back to the philosophy of be a real business but keep SEO in mind. All the tactics that I'm going to go through today and all the tools that I'm going to mention, I'm sure are tools that you've used before, but this is kind of a shift of a new way of thinking and how you should be thinking of your SEO campaign. So first and foremost, your website is the foundation of your SEO campaign. This is what you want to make sure is set up for users first and foremost, and then search engines. You want to make sure people can find what they're looking for easily and quickly on the site, find the car that they're looking for, find information about your dealership, and you want to make sure they find it quickly and easily, because if they don't, they're just going to go to the competitor next door. So it's really important to focus on having a site that can be easily navigated by your visitors. And then you secondly should be thinking about your consumer or your search engines, because the search engines are going to help you show up in the search results. So you want to have a site that can be easily navigated through for your visitors and then easily found by search engines. And how you can make sure that your website follows these two principles is using Google Webmaster Tools. It really allows you to make sure your site is set up how it should. If Google or any other search engine is finding errors with certain pages on your site, if you have a sitemap, it really looks at the overall health of your site to make sure it can be used and found by search engines and visitors.
And I can't tell you how often that this is set up properly, but the dealership doesn't understand the data or they're not analyzing the data. So it's really important. I equivalent this to taking your car into the shop and then putting it on a diagnostic test at the shop. You'd find out pretty quickly and easily what's going on with the vehicle. This is the same equivalent of that for your website. So you look at Webmaster Tools, and it really tells you what's going on with your website. Is it loading properly? Are all of the pages indexed within Google? Is Google reading my site well? So those are really important things to know, because if Google's not reading your site well and it's not performing well on the search engines, then you're not going to show up as readily. So it's a really important aspect to understand and use. So again, the installation of Webmaster Tools is typically done, but the analyzation of Webmaster Tools is typically the part that's missed.
The second foundation of your SEO campaign is your keywords. This is what you should be showing up for relevant searches for your business. You really want to analyze what people are searching, what customers are searching out there to get to your site. What specific makes are they searching for? What specific service and parts term are they searching for? And there's a lot of tools out there that you can easily find what the best keywords are out there for your business. And these keywords are are what you're going to put in your content, metadata, and your backlinks, and all your other SEO efforts. So the first tool that we're going to go over today is Google Trends. Google Trends allows you to actually analyze specific makes, specific products, service parts, whatever you want to focus on for your SEO campaign. You can actually drill it down to time frame and specific area that you're focusing on. And as you can see in these screenshots, you can see actual searches that people are searching for that are getting the most traffic for that search term and for a particular area. So you know if you're in the Chicagoland area and want to focus on BMW, you should be focusing on these surrounding cities and these searches if you want to get traffic from these areas.
And I think it's really just a really easy takeaway is if you Google the word trends, this is how you get to that tool. So it's really simple, easy takeaway that you guys can all take with you.
So the next keyword tool is in AdWords, the Keyword Planner tool. It, again, like Google Trends, allows you to focus on specific areas and specific models and see what are getting the most search volume. So if it's a medium, low, high level of competition, you know the keywords that have a little bit more competition, it's going to take a little bit more time to show up for these specific searches, but they still are good to include because they're getting search traffic. So this is another way you can find out what keywords you should be showing up for. The next one is Google Analytics, actually analyzing the traffic that you're getting to your website and seeing areas of opportunity and areas you should be focusing on better. So you can actually see what people are searching for in the organic keyword section in Analytics to see what keywords are bringing people to your site. Again, going back to the traffic volume and traffic quality, are people using these terms to spend time searching on the site? If they're spending more time searching, that means it's a good keyword to focus on and you're getting relevant traffic to focus on. You can also be looking at what areas of opportunity. You know, maybe you've had some certain keyword term that are not getting as many organic traffic searches and you really want to focus on that. That's a good keyword to include. And also a tool that I don't have up here, you can also look in Webmaster Tools. After you set up Webmaster Tools, over time you can see the search queries and kind of see what keywords or what queries are bringing traffic to your site and what you should be focusing on.
And what's great about all these tools is they're absolutely free. So it's just about getting all of this stuff installed on your website so you can actually analyze the data, but it's all there for you free, and you can easily access to see what keywords we should focus on, what ones we shouldn't focus on, and obviously take all of that analysis and come up with a really good keyword strategy. Because the fact of the matter is you can't focus on every keyword with SEO, so you have to pick and choose which keywords are going to drive the most traffic to your site based on the search volume that's out there for those keywords. So the critical thing is finding that balance of keywords that have a lot of search volume and that aren't super competitive so that you can focus on those and get a return that results in more organic traffic.
So going back to seeing if you can really see if what you're doing with your SEO efforts are seeing results. So looking at Google Analytics, you can see if the particular areas of keyword focus is benefiting your website. The first thing that you can look at is organic traffic increases for a particular area. So really seeing if from a particular area of focus you're seeing traffic from the site. So for example, the Madeira, California is an example we see here. So this is for a dealership that we focus on for Madeira, California, and you can see that they've seen increases from this area. So from people in that area, they're getting more organic traffic and people are spending more time searching on this site. The next example shows organic traffic increases that include a certain keyword or area you're focusing on. So you want to see if you want to see if your keyword strategy is benefiting you, you can see increases in organic traffic from that particular area and searches that include that particular model or area of focus. So this is a big change that has happened over the last couple of years, is looking at keyword rankings to measure SEO success. It's really about looking at the organic traffic and increases for the keywords that you're focusing on. There's so many different factors that influence if you're going to show up for particular keywords, and Google really, going back to the changes in Google's algorithms, they really try to focus on seeing the most relevant search terms for a particular person. So there's so many different factors that goes into that. So location, individual search history, overall internet use while you're signed into Google, what people in your network are searching. So Google tries to tailor search results for a particular person. So it's really important not to focus on keyword rankings. You really want to see increases in organic traffic and then draw increases in organic traffic from new areas of focus.
So I think that this one can't be highlighted enough because obviously there's still a lot of keyword ranking tools out there that show you, okay, I'm in position 2 for this particular keyword. And the fact of the matter is that because of all the localization that Google does, what I may search for and see in my browser can be completely different than what Nikki would see and completely different than what somebody else would see. So the fact is that all of your results are so personalized that the keyword rankings anymore don't tell you the full story. So that's the concept here, is that keyword rankings aren't the story that they used to be because Google has come so far, and even Bing for that matter, in that all the results are personalized based on all of these things. So I think that's a really important thing to take away. So in lieu of having keyword rankings to show how you're doing, it's best to look at the traffic volume things that we just spoke about, or that Nikki just spoke about, instead of rankings.
Okay, so we're going to highlight some of the best practices that you should be focusing on and how to get good organic traffic from these different tactics and the results you should be seeing from the tactics that you're focusing on, all while being a real business and keep SEO in mind. So the first strategy that is most important is content. And your content refers to the actual words that you put on your site that will teach someone that comes to your site about what they're going to find on that page, about the dealership, whatever is particular to that particular page. So the content should be authentic, interesting, informative, and relevant. People should actually learn something from the content that you put on your site. It should be extremely custom and relevant to your business and really teach someone about what they're going to find on your site or about what you're hoping to sell or gain from your customers. So it's really important to focus on quality content. And if you focus on quality content, Google is going to reward those. Going back, they really want to put the most relevant search results out there and have customers actually learn something from the sites they put out there. So it's the philosophy, if you build it, they will come. If you build quality content, you're going to get both users being able to find something on your site that hopefully will turn into customers, and Google rewards you by putting in search results. So it's really important, most importantly, is having this custom content on your website. The next most important thing you should be focusing on with your on-site tactics is metadata. Your meta title, meta description, and meta keywords. Metadata consists of all those three things, with the most important being your meta title and meta description. Google doesn't really read the keywords as a ranking factor anymore, so it's really just most important to focus on the meta title and meta description. Every page on your site should have a meta title and meta description that describes what a user is going to find on that page. So your meta title should be descriptive, concise, and easy to read, and be in the format that you see as an example here. It's easy for the search engines to read and then really shows that user what they're going to find on that page. And the meta description really describes, it's a way to incentivize the user to click through and describe to someone why they should come to that site, why they should come to that page, and what they're going to learn from that website page.
It's almost like your PPC ad, in that you want it to sell your business and briefly tell the user why they should click on the organic link. So the meta title and the meta description are your ways to do that, and they should be unique to each page as well. And Nikki pointed that out, but it can't be. We still find, and I can't tell you how many times we find it, meta titles that are the same across multiple pages. And this is really simple, but every different section of your website should have its own unique meta title, meta description that tells the user what that page is all about. So it's kind of like chapters of a book. Each chapter should have a distinct title and a summary about what that chapter is all about.
So how can metadata help your website, and what you should be seeing from your meta titles and meta descriptions if you're following these best practices? The meta title, meta description really encourage searchers to click on your site based on relevancy to that particular search query. You really want to craft a readable compelling response to in your meta description, and you're going to draw a much higher click rate because people are going to find exactly what they're looking for. If you kind of tease the user to find that with the meta description that they're actually not going to learn something from, those people aren't going to turn into consumers. So really think about what do I want the consumer or customer to learn from this meta description? What are they going to find on this page? So really thinking about that will definitely draw a much higher click rate, and again, will reward you by showing up in search results. So how do you know if your metadata and content is helping your website? Well, again, we refer back to Google Analytics. You really want to see increases in traffic volume and traffic quality from the pages you're optimizing. If you see increases for both of these areas with your organic traffic, you know that these pages are showing up in search results because people are finding them through organic search, and if they're spending time searching on them. If they're spending time searching on them, you know that they're gonna turn into a real customer because they actually want to learn something from your business and are looking through multiple pages on your site, maybe looking at multiple inventory pages, looking at information about your business. You really want to make sure that the pages that you're optimizing are gonna craft visitors that are going to learn something from them. So it's really important to analyze your organic data and the landing pages that people are visiting and the traffic that you're getting. If you see a landing page that's not getting a lot of traffic, people are coming and leaving right away, or they're not spending time searching on it, maybe you should update the content or put different keywords on there that are going to attract the right type of customers to your business. So you want to see, going back to the slide I show you with the keywords, it's another example of you want to see increases in organic traffic from the areas and keywords you're focusing on. So these two examples up here is both for the area Salina, Ohio, and for searches that include Salina, Ohio. You want to be seeing increases from both of those, the searches and the areas that you're focusing on, because you know these are relevant areas, they're relevant for your business, and they're going to gain great organic traffic for your site.
So I think what Nikki focused on a lot is content. So, content is a crucial piece of SEO. And we talked a little bit earlier about links and the unnatural spammy links that Google kind of said no go anymore. So what we wanted to share with you are some examples of good links that you absolutely should be focused on building that are natural and normal part of doing business. So what we're really focused around is a lot of the social links that you can naturally do. So if you are posting content to your site and you're putting it on there and you're taking the time to put that really good content with all these keywords, you should absolutely be sharing that on social media. If there's a new 2016 model that you just wrote a great blog post about, you should absolutely take that to Facebook, take it to Google+, put it out there and make sure you're sharing it with the social community, because that's a link back to your website that's a natural link. That's not spammy. It's not, it's not trying to game the system. It's just what you should naturally do. If you're going out there and you're taking the time to produce content on your site on a readily basis, make sure you're getting it out there on the social media networks. And then another great example is with local sites, for instance. So you are local businesses. So I can't tell you how many dealerships partner with local charities, local chambers of commerce, and yet don't get links that are pointing back into their website from those businesses. You absolutely should make sure that those businesses that you're partnering with are linking back to your website. And another side thing is also make sure you're getting some social media mentions. Partner with those local businesses and get social media mentions within their feeds that link back to your website. Those are all great natural ways of link building that are just part of being a real business. So how backlinks can benefit the website is actually by posting on these media sites. Obviously, it's going to cause people to find your business because they're going to stumble upon that content and they're going to click on the link potentially and see and come back to your website. And obviously, that's one benefit, but the other benefit is that the more of those natural links that you have out there, they still do show validity for your business. So more backlinks that are coming from these relevant sites are showing Google that you are a relevant business. So they're still important. Links are still important. It's all about quality and not quantity. So how you can tell if they're actually helping your business, meaning driving traffic, is you can actually jump into analytics and you can see for each of the different social media sites how much traffic they drove to your website. kind of neat. You can also see the different things about the quality of the traffic as well to determine where you should place your focus. So obviously, if Facebook's delivering really good sessions and really healthy bounce rate, and you look at it over a good span of time, and we recommend that definitely, is look at it over a good span of time, not over a short term, because this is not, posting links out there on social media is not a short-term strategy, it's a long-term strategy. So definitely look at it over a longer period of time and see how those posts that you put out there on social media drove traffic back to your website. Because in addition, again, to the linking and showing favorability with Google, there's also benefit in referral traffic. So the next piece that we talked a little bit about in the beginning with the pigeon update is about citations. And citations are probably the lowest hanging fruit as far as opportunity for dealerships. They really impact local SEO and show that you are a local business. And still often when we see clients come in, we see that the citations are not claimed properly. For instance, one important thing is that the business name should be consistent across all of the different citation sites. So yp.com, Yelp, Google+, all of those different local citation sites that show up that you see periodically, they should have the same business name, the same business address, and the same business phone number. The consistency across all those sites shows, again, that you're a real business and that it points fingers to, yes, this is all legitimate and relevant content because it's consistent. So that's a must-do as far as the pigeon update. And how the local citations help your business is they increase the credibility of your business in Google's eyes because, again, all of that consistency and the links will show that you are a real business. And then they also help your customer. So part of being a real business, when the consumer searches and lands on yp.com, they expect 100% that it's the right address, the right phone number, the right business name. They want it to be accurate. They get very frustrated, as you can imagine, if they call a phone number and it's dead because it was one of your tracking numbers that you forgot about, which happens a lot, right? And then also on the same note about local citations, obviously we know that reviews are critically important. And how reviews will help your business is they absolutely will stand out in the search results. So once you have all these local citation sites claimed, we want to make sure that you're getting reviews and that you're responding to reviews. Because part of being a real business but keeping SEO in mind means that you should have reviews out there. And you should be responding to the reviews. Reviews are the new word of mouth. That's how the consumer understands your business. So it is an important factor within SEO. Reviews can absolutely help conversions as well, because if the consumer has done a lot of due diligence and they've gone through the process of communicating back and forth with you on your website, and then they go to find your business and they see that you have a 2-star review, it definitely impacts the decision. Whereas if they saw positive reviews, they feel better about coming into your business. So, and they're also, side benefit, Google hasn't said this directly, but reviews are a signal as to how they show the rankings. So this means that more quantity and quality of reviews is a signal to tell Google how to rank things. So they won't openly say that reviews directly correlate to better rankings, but they say it's a signal. So it's important to understand that, and that's why they are so important.
And you really want to be focusing on your reviews because it could really make or break who turns into a customer or not. You could be showing up in all the top search results, you have all the SEO factors in place, but if you have negative reviews that you're not responding to, that you're not trying to turn this negative experience that this customer had into a positive one, that could really make or break who's going to come to your site or who's going to go to a competitor. So you really should be focusing on your reviews and what people are saying and be a real business and respond, and it's all about that customer interaction and turning that into a positive one.
And the Google My Business checklist is just make sure that you have these pages claimed. Being that Google is the largest search engine and drives the majority of the organic traffic, make sure it's claimed and make sure you don't have duplicates out there. Duplicates do periodically pop up. It happens. So make sure that you're getting rid of those duplicates and you only have one Google My Business page. Secondly, you want to be active. Again, this is another social media forum that if you have a new 2016 model coming out that you just wrote a great blog post about and you talked about all the cool features about that vehicle, absolutely put that on Google+. It doesn't take much time at all, and it's really important. And we do see a direct correlation to posting activity on Google+ and helping your organic rankings. So again, because of those social signals of the social media channels, it's really important to make sure you're getting that content there.
So just to sum up kind of what we talked about today and this new philosophy that we've been moving towards over the last couple of years is how to be a real business and keep SEO in mind. So here's really a summary of everything that we talked about. You want to be doing keyword research to find relevant search queries and keywords that you should be including within your content, your metadata, and your backlinks. This is really what's going to drive the traffic to your website and to make sure you're in place to capture the right and quality organic traffic to your website. You want to have a well-built website that can be easily navigated by users and found by search engines. You want to write your content and metadata for your users. And, if you write the best content and metadata that you can for your business as quality content, the search engines are going to reward you and you're going to show up in the top spots in the search results.
You want to make sure, of course, that content's shared, that you get those links out there and that you get that diverse link portfolio. That's critical, and you want those to be quality sites, not quantity. So just focus on the basics. If you want to start somewhere, just focus on Facebook to start and get that content out there. You want to absolutely make sure you're listed on these top citation sites. So again, Google+, YP.com, Yelp. Make sure that your name is consistent. If you're Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, make sure it's Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram across all of these sites. So it's really important to make sure that the naming convention's exact and also that the phone number is exact. And typically we would recommend a local phone number. Also, you want to make sure you're engaging with your customers on these local citation sites. So if you get a negative review, which is going to happen, respond to it. Again, you want to see that activity on these review channels and these citations because it's showing that you're a real business and that you understand that people are all online and that's how they're behaving. So you need to get your input out there and you need to respond to the reviews, both positive and negative.
So just to sum up what you should be seeing if you are following these good best practices are all laid out up here. So you want to see increases in overall organic traffic to your website. You want to see increases in organic traffic from the locations you're focusing on and the keywords that you're focusing on. And then increases in organic traffic on the locations and the keywords that you're focusing on. The pages that you're focusing on. You want to be seeing the results from what you're doing with your SEO tactics. And then you want to see increases in referral traffic from the backlinks that you're doing. And like Nicole mentioned, this should be over time. So this will, analyzing your organic data and specific landing pages and your keywords will really show if the SEO tactics that you're focusing on are seeing results for your dealership.
So with that being said, we left some time for Q&A and we'd love to take any questions that you might have. Yeah. Yeah, that's a common question. The question was, how do you advise clients that would like to use a tracking number for the local citation sites that are out there? And it's very common. I think the question, it's a debate really, in that how valuable is getting that tracking information to the dealership as compared to the somewhat intangible benefit of having a local number out there that's consistent. And it's a personal question for each and every dealership. We don't know that there's necessarily one answer. If you are using local tracking numbers, I would recommend using a consistent local tracking number across all of those citation sites, just because that would show that consistency. And there's also local tracking numbers that you can use that I'd recommend. But again, the concept is consistency, so that, and some of them are so small that it's not meaningful to measure. So we're just measuring for the point of measuring. So it's not an exact answer because it's a general debate on how valuable that tracking is. Yes?
Did you mention anything about video, YouTube video driving SEO?
Yeah, that was, it was in one of the links. The videos, if you put links in those videos, obviously, and have a lot of those videos out there, I didn't dive into it specifically, but there's absolutely a value to having videos out there and having those link back to your website.
And you could...
That's the other concept, and it's the content side. So there's two concepts. There's the links because it's a great site to link from. And then, Nikki, you can talk about the content.
Yeah, so it's really important that the videos that you have on the site, or if you put on YouTube, you optimize them with, you can do the title and keywords, and really that will help have the search engines find these videos. And then you want to make sure the videos that you're actually putting on your site, people are going to actually learn something, so it's informative videos. But yeah, there's definitely a best practices there, and it's good to focus on, and really good to build up your YouTube page and make sure you're optimizing all the videos that you're putting on there. So it's really twofold. If you have a YouTube page, optimize it just like you would your website.
Great question. Yes?
To what extent does being local and claiming all those local listings have an impact on my ranking on the SEM side? With this division update, I'm just wondering if being a local business, for example, promoting oil changes, things like that gives me a competitive edge over a national chain like Gignac.
So on the search engine marketing side, or the paid search side, is that what you're referring to? So the actual claiming of those sites, right, and making sure that those sites are consistent and claimed is more on the search engine optimization side. And then having that address in your paid search ad would be kind of a completely different topic, but it's definitely one that is important because it's an ad extension, is having that location info in your paid search ad. But that's optimizing your paid search campaign a little bit more, I think. I think I might need to, if you want to come up afterwards, I can better understand the question, because there's a couple different ways that we can go there. Yes?
Would you recommend a really refined, optimized, small site, or a huge site that has tons of research pages but not properly optimized?
Oh, that's a great question. The question was, do you recommend a small, refined, really well-optimized site versus a huge, vast site with lots of pages and not very well optimized? You want to take that one?
Yeah, I can definitely take this one. I would say having a small, well-optimized site is definitely the way to go. If you have pages on your site, a ton of pages on your site that don't have quality content, are stuffed with keywords, it's not going to help you. You're not going to show up in search results for these pages, and people aren't going to find what they're looking for. So content and optimizing your site is the best thing that you guys could be doing to get traffic and to get search engines to find you and to get customers to your site. So it's really important to have every page well optimized.
Yeah, the huge site with lots of pages and lots of stuff that's not so well optimized reminds me of kind of the old way of doing SEO, where people just put pages on the site to put pages on the site, and all of a sudden they have a ton of pages that might have a lot of keyword stuffing as well, which could be negative. Yes?
Kind of along that same vein, do you recommend having one URL or two or three, or how do you feel about multiple domains?
So, great question. The question was, how do you feel about multiple domains? 1, 2, 3. A lot of people have 2 sites. We know that that's pretty common. We believe one site is best. If you think about the biggest brands in the country, right? Just think about local brands like Target.com, right? They don't have different versions of Target.com. They have one URL, one domain, and they focus on that one domain. So we definitely recommend one domain. The only instance where we could see an argument for having 2 would be if the one domain that you have from the OEM site is such a poor converter, and it's not converting the traffic, and you've exhausted every effort with that website vendor to try and get it to work better, and you just didn't see success, so you go to the other website. But multiple domains is definitely confusing for a lot of reasons. For pretty much every reason that we outlined in here is all the different citation sites, which domain do you use, your social strategy, which domain is referenced. So it's very confusing to the search engines as well as the dealership in managing multiple sites. It's a challenge for sure. Great question. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time.